My beloved child. There is a reason you found these words today. There is a reason your eyes stopped here instead of moving away like they always do. Most people will never notice the silent moments that change everything. They keep searching for loud signs while the biggest turning point arrives quietly. Today carries one of those moments. It may not look extraordinary when it first appears. It may seem like an ordinary conversation, an unexpected message, a forgotten memory, a familiar face, or a strange feeling that refuses to leave your heart. But hidden inside that simple moment is something capable of changing the direction of your journey. Listen carefully until the very end, because what you are about to understand has been waiting for the perfect time to reach you. Many people will miss this opportunity because they will stop listening too soon. Do not become one of them. The truth hidden inside today's message is far greater than it first appears. Every second you remain here brings another missing piece into place. By the time this part ends, you will understand why today is different from every ordinary day that came before it. And what happens next may surprise even the strongest heart. Something unusual begins long before anyone notices it. Every important change first whispers before it speaks loudly. Imagine standing before a closed door for years without realizing it was never locked. Imagine carrying a question inside your heart while the answer quietly walks beside you every single day. That is how life often works. The greatest discoveries are never announced with noise. They arrive through awareness. Today asks you to pay attention to the smallest details. A sentence someone says without thinking. A place you suddenly remember. A decision you almost postpone. A feeling you cannot explain. None of these events appear important on their own. Yet together they create a pattern that very few people recognize until it is too late. You are being invited to notice that pattern before everyone else does. The shocking part is not that something is coming. The shocking part is that it has already started. Most people simply have not realized it yet. Every moment from this point forward matters because each one connects to the next like pieces of a hidden puzzle waiting for the final piece to appear. Now imagine looking back at this very day 1 year from now. Imagine saying that everything changed because of one choice that seemed almost too small to matter. History is filled with lives transformed by a single unexpected moment. Not because luck suddenly appeared. Not because miracles ignored every rule. But because someone remained present when everyone else became distracted. Today challenges you to become that person. There may be someone who notices your kindness when you least expect it. There may be an opportunity hiding inside what first looks like a delay. There may be a lesson inside a disappointment that later becomes your greatest strength. The future rarely announces itself with certainty. Instead, it leaves quiet clues for those willing to observe carefully. The greatest surprise is that your next chapter may already be waiting for your attention while you continue searching somewhere else. Pause inside your own thoughts for a moment. Ask yourself what you have been ignoring. Ask yourself what keeps returning to your mind without explanation. Sometimes the answer has been standing before you all along. Sometimes the most shocking discovery is realizing that what you needed never disappeared. You simply looked past it. Another truth is even more surprising. Not every unexpected event is meant to interrupt your peace. Some unexpected moments exist to reveal your strength. You may soon witness something that changes the way you think about yourself. Perhaps you will discover courage you never believed existed. Perhaps someone will finally recognize a quality inside you that others overlooked. Perhaps a forgotten dream will suddenly feel possible again. These moments never arrive by accident. They appear after countless unseen lessons have quietly prepared your heart. Every challenge you survived has been shaping your ability to recognize this moment. That is why today matters so much. It is not because something dramatic must happen instantly. It is because your perspective is reaching a turning point. Once your perspective changes, your decisions begin changing. Once your decisions change, your future begins changing. That invisible chain has already started moving. Many people will only understand it after everything has unfolded. But you have the chance to recognize it while it is still beginning. That awareness alone can become the greatest surprise of all. One final thought must stay with you until the next part. Somewhere within the next ordinary moment of your day, there may be something that seems too small to deserve your attention. Do not rush past it. Do not dismiss it simply because it looks familiar. Extraordinary opportunities often wear ordinary clothes. The biggest revelation is rarely the loudest one. It is the quiet realization that suddenly makes every confusing moment from the past begin to make sense. Keep your eyes open. Keep your heart steady. Keep your mind ready. Because the story has only just begun. And what you discover next will connect every clue you have heard so far into a picture that almost no one sees until it is already changing their life. Everything becomes even more interesting from this moment. The truth is that people often believe life changes only through huge events. That belief causes them to overlook the quiet moments that shape their future. Today is not asking you to search farther away. It is asking you to look closer than ever before. Somewhere around you is a detail that has repeated itself more than once. It may be a thought that keeps returning. It may be a conversation you cannot forget. It may be a decision you continue delaying without knowing why. Nothing about it seems extraordinary at first. Yet the more attention you give it, the more clearly another layer begins to appear. This is where the story becomes truly surprising. What once looked ordinary slowly begins revealing a meaning that was hidden in plain sight. Most people never reach this point because they stop paying attention too early. But you are still here. That alone separates you from countless others who walk past important moments every single day without ever realizing what they have missed. There is another reason today feels different. Your mind has been collecting small experiences for weeks, perhaps even months, without connecting them together. Every unexpected meeting. Every strange coincidence. Every lesson that seemed unnecessary. Every delay that frustrated you. Every unanswered question. None of them were isolated events. They were preparing a picture that could only be understood when all the pieces finally came together. Imagine standing inches away from a giant painting. You would only see random colors. But the moment you step back, everything suddenly makes perfect sense. Life often works the same way. The shocking realization is not that something impossible happens. The shocking realization is discovering that everything was quietly leading toward this exact moment. Suddenly, what once felt confusing begins to look intentional. What once felt random begins to reveal a pattern that was impossible to notice before. Now ask yourself one question. What if the opportunity you have been waiting for is also waiting for you to become ready? That possibility changes everything. Many people believe opportunities arrive first and confidence follows later. But often the opposite is true. Confidence opens the door that opportunity has been standing behind all along. Think about how many times fear convinced people to ignore something that later proved valuable. Think about how many remarkable journeys began with one simple decision to pay attention instead of turning away. Today invites you to make that decision. Not through pressure. Not through haste. But through awareness. Because awareness transforms ordinary days into unforgettable ones. There is a quiet shift already taking place inside you. You may not fully recognize it yet. But each passing moment is bringing you closer to understanding why today's message reached you exactly when it did. There is still one mystery left unresolved. Why does this moment feel so personal? Why does it seem as though these words were waiting specifically for this day? The answer is not hidden in chance. It is hidden in timing. Every meaningful chapter begins when the reader is finally prepared to understand it. The same message heard yesterday might have meant nothing. The same message heard tomorrow might arrive too late. But today your perspective is different. Your experiences have changed you. Your questions have become deeper. Your patience has grown stronger. That is why the next discovery will feel far more powerful than you expect. It will not arrive as noise. It will arrive as clarity. And once clarity appears, it becomes impossible to return to seeing the world the old way again. Before this part comes to an end, remember one thing above all else. The most unforgettable moments rarely announce themselves before they arrive. They simply appear, quietly asking one question. Were you paying attention? The answer to that question may shape everything that follows. Because the next piece of this story does not simply reveal another clue. It reveals why today's ordinary moments may become tomorrow's extraordinary memories. And once that truth comes into the light, nothing will seem quite as ordinary again. The story now reaches the point where almost everyone makes a mistake. They assume that if something important is going to happen, it must arrive with obvious signs. But the greatest turning points often arrive quietly. They ask for patience instead of panic. They reward observation instead of assumption. Right now, while this message continues, somewhere an ordinary moment is slowly becoming extraordinary. You cannot see the full picture yet, and that is exactly why you must keep listening. The next chapter of your journey is not being built by one dramatic event. It is being built by several small moments connecting together with perfect timing. When those moments finally meet, you will look back and realize that today was never an ordinary day. It was the beginning of a story you did not know you had already entered. There is something else very few people ever understand. Every meaningful opportunity first arrives as a question, not an answer. It asks whether you are willing to notice what others ignore. It asks whether you can remain calm when nothing seems to be happening. That quiet space is where remarkable discoveries are often born. Think about the people who changed their lives because they trusted a simple idea, explored a new path, or gave one more chance to something they almost abandoned. None of those moments looked extraordinary at first. Their power was revealed only later. That is why today's message matters so much. It is reminding you that the future is not always created by giant leaps. Sometimes it is shaped by one thoughtful choice made at exactly the right moment. The surprising part is that your next meaningful choice may arrive sooner than you expect. Now another piece of the puzzle begins to appear. Imagine discovering that something you once considered a setback was actually preparing you for a better direction. Imagine realizing that every delay taught you patience, every challenge built resilience, and every unanswered question sharpened your wisdom. Suddenly the past begins to look completely different. Instead of seeing obstacles, you begin seeing preparation. Instead of seeing lost time, you begin seeing hidden lessons. That single shift in perspective changes everything. It replaces frustration with understanding. It replaces doubt with confidence. And once that transformation begins, your decisions naturally become stronger. This is why today carries such importance. Not because life suddenly becomes perfect, but because you begin seeing possibilities that were invisible before. There is one final mystery that still remains. Somewhere within the next chapter of your journey, you may encounter a moment that feels strangely familiar. You may feel as though you have been preparing for it without realizing it. Do not ignore that feeling. Sometimes familiarity is simply your experience recognizing an opportunity before your mind fully understands it. Stay present. Stay curious. Stay open to learning from every conversation, every observation, and every unexpected twist. Each one may carry another piece of the larger picture. The people who experience remarkable moments are often the ones who refuse to stop paying attention when life seems ordinary. They continue looking deeper, and because they do, they discover what others completely miss. As this part comes to its close, remember this. Today's greatest surprise is not hidden somewhere far away. It is hidden within the way you choose to see the moments unfolding before you. Every page of this journey has been leading here, but the biggest revelation has not yet arrived. The clues have been placed carefully, one after another, waiting for the moment they finally connect. And when that connection happens, you will understand why every word until now has mattered. The next part will uncover the final pieces that transform curiosity into clarity, and the picture will become more powerful than you ever expected.